Hi everyone, welcome to the day 8 of RevenueCat Ship It In. Today was not as of a productive day that I wanted because I wasted a lot of time getting this shortcut to work where in the end it turned out to be that because my iPhone, my main device had a previous, I think the first public beta, and the shortcuts app was buggy on it, so when I did it on my test device it worked flawlessly. But by that time I had already wasted like couple of hours. I shouldn't have done that, I know. And then I was supposed to work on the onboarding today, but I got so engrossed in like getting just one line animated that I wasted another couple of hours there. And I also got myself a new watch. It's like a first a non Apple product in a long time. It's a Garmin watch, and I got it for the main purpose of getting started into running a 5K. And with that, let's start with what I have worked on today. So the first thing is that when I researched a lot of the wallpaper apps out there, and I realized that they have this problem where you have to export the image to your photos, and from there they would ask you to set it as the wallpaper, and that's okay. But I did not want it to have that friction. So what I did was create a very simple custom shortcut that gets the image from the clipboard and then directly sets the wallpaper from the clipboard image. And then because you can have a callback to your app itself, I added a meshing callback. So to give you an example, here's a beautiful gradient in a 4x4 size. I click on export and then I click on wallpaper. It opens the shortcut app. It first pastes the mesh gradient from my app, and then it would run the create mesh gradient wallpaper shortcut. Oops, it did. I'm sorry. How do I switch back? Yes, if you can see on the 8th one, it is in the process of creating a mesh gradient wallpaper. It usually does not take much time, but I'm not sure what's happening. So the next thing that I worked on was this meshing. I used the TextRenderer, which was released this year. The idea is that it provides you a very simple transition in the beginning where it flows and then starts to animate. And now I'm not doing just the animation on the positions, I'm also doing the animation on the colors. As you can with this, I shift the hue of the color a bit in a cosine function, which is gives it a really cool effect. And I would want to have that as a whole gradient itself, but let's see if I can get this onboarding screen working first, because as a developer I'm not just the developer of the app, I also have to be the copywriter and work on the onboarding screen. I do not have someone who would just give it to me and I just copy paste in the app. So as you can see, I'm struggling. Oh, it worked. So let me show it to you again. It's a very subtle animation that comes in the beginning, and instead of saying welcome to meshing, I just wanted to say meshing because welcome to would be a lot. And then this meshing that I said will slowly go up, and then all the features would come down, and then there will be a get started button. And then the next step is that this will, I don't know if I can achieve this, is like it kind of zooms out into the gradient that I have, like the mesh gradient that I start with, and that would be a very cool animation worthy of winning a RevenueCat Design Award. So I thought of that while I was on my flight, and I just hope that I can get that working. And the next thing was I wrote an article on let's go to my website, a checklist for iOS 18 app release. And in this I want to mention, as Jordan Morgan says, that you only launch your app once, so you have to be really good with that for being on day one release and being everywhere on the App Store or on the press through 95 Mac rumors. So the first thing is that I want to polish the feature set. What I have is good enough. I want to make sure that it works perfectly. then have a valuable onboarding. I was supposed to do this today, but unfortunately I will have to spend more time tomorrow or this week. Implement the iOS 18 features. I will kind of sneak in translate framework as well. You will know in the later days of how I do that. Set up analytics. This is something that I have been wanting to do. I use telemetry tech. I've been using that for a few years now, that I really like. It's privacy friendly. I want to add a feedback friendly settings page. Right now I'm kind of dependent on the feedback that I get from the Twitter users and not much from the feedback on test flight. So that's something I really want to have, that they can directly send me like if there's a bug or feature request, they can directly mail me. An effective paywall. We are doing the RevenueCat Shipper 10, so we need to implement one of the features. So I want to have a paywall. I mentioned my paywall with the subscription model, where it starts at $3 a month, then it goes to $20 a year. I do want to people to subscribe to this plan so that I have much investment in a year. $20 seems too low or too high. I am in a way I'm not able to manage it out, and I have to do a lot of research on paywalls and the pricing to understand how competitive the market is when it comes to design tool and how much the designers want to pay, and having $30 lifetime access. I have to think harder. I do not want to undersell my work while still providing value to the users. Next is that this animation is like 12 to 15% on the CPU usage and like 100-120 MB, and that's a lot. So I have to make sure that is it something I can like try to fix, like make the numbers go a little bit lower, because if I am having a lot of animations, I cannot have the app buggy or like have a lot of stuttering. I do not want the scroll to stutter. So I will use Xcode instruments to find some bottlenecks, see if I can move some work on the background thread and compress the image without losing the quality, because some of the images, especially the Mac wallpapers, they're like 60 MB, 70 MB, and that's a lot. Errors. I have not done any error handling as of yet. Like if there's any bug related to the meshing AI part, I have not added any. Like there's a print error in the catch, something that we developers use, and that's not something I'm proud of. So I would give my whole code base to Claude and ask it to like at least implement basic error like alert messages, and use the new content and available view as well. Another important thing is I have not run the app through voiceover or voice control to know which labels are missing, and the UI is still not in a place where I can be sure the large text sizes are working or not. So these two is something that is I would want to do very well before shipping it on App Store, because as I want everyone to create beautiful mesh gradients with ease. And finally, localization. I want the app to be localized in as many languages I can, and I've got some great feedback from a developer who uses Simplified Chinese, and to appreciate their work I also replied to them in Simplified Chinese, and I localized the app for them. And my plan further is to localize in French, German, Japanese, Korean. And when I was doing that, I posted about this. I got to know about String Catalog, which is an app to localize in up to 40 languages, and I tried to give it a try. And if you can see if you see my apps right now, I have the meshing app, and in the localizable string I have languages which are almost 15 now, and I can add more languages to it. And the best part of the app, what I understand, is that I can add new languages. Like let's say I want to add English Australia, or maybe Italian. Let's go with an Italian one, and it takes some time to initialize and add a new I guess a new language and add it also does the localization on the go. And then it opens my GitHub account, where it opens a pull request in my app, and I have this automated update which has all the localized files. Like I can see that it has ordered all the values for each one of them. I do not know if they're correct or not, but from what I did understand is that I gave the simplified Chinese translation to a friend, and he said that they are like almost spot on. So I am kind of confident going forward with the translation, the localized strings that I got with the app. So I will just directly merge this pull request into develop. And another thing to know is that if you add comments for the localized string, there's an option to do that. I will just show you the code as well. Let's see the localized file. You can add a comment, and let's say if I add a comment for this high and low, so it is high is for the compression quality of the image. I can say low is for, so it provides better context to the AI that they're using and provide better localized versions for when it comes to apps. I can do it for each comment, each of the keys that I feel should have a context, and because I'm doing it for one, I am more confident that when I export it to like 30 or for all the 40 languages, it will kind of turn out to be much better than just giving it without any context. And with that, my plan for tomorrow is, what's my plan? I think I will go with a settings page, or maybe try to do this onboarding part a bit. I want to nail it in the first go. I am very stubborn on this, so let's see which one is it. And for that, you have to stay tuned to watch the next video. See you tomorrow.